You're listening to Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. We're coming to you from the unceded traditional territory of the Salish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. I'm Bernadine Fox, and this is Both Sides Now. Today, on Both Sides Now, we are doing a follow-up to our show on marriage counseling with professional Chris Burt. A couple I personally know offered to share with us their private thoughts and concerns around seeing a marriage counselor. They invited me into their kitchen, where we chatted over port wine, infused Derby cheese, rainforest crisp, and red wine. I've known this couple for about 15 years. My child went to elementary school with theirs. They have raised 3 children, 2 from past relationships, and a third born into theirs. They own a house together. They've been together for about 13 years and are not legally married in the traditional manner, but are considered that in the eyes of the law. For all intents and purposes, this is a complex relationship. This conversation is compelling, and I'm going to post it with as few interruptions as possible.
So here we are, both sides now discussing the process of looking and finding and settling on a marriage counselor as life.
Yeah, what is it like to think about going and seeing a marriage counselor? Like, what kinds of things go through your head?
Well, I think it's like it's not the best time in your relationship, is it? So it's like a little difficult at that time. But at least by agreeing to try and find a marriage counselor means that you're talking to each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a period of renewal as well.
And hope. Yeah,
you might be past a difficult period, and now you're ready for counseling.
Or it's a cry for help and need for a mediator.
It could be that too.
It could be. That's the thing, is like, what are we looking for? That's the other thing. It's a whole different, what are our long-term goals? And looking for a marriage counselor means agreeing on at least 1 week ahead to make an appointment.
But it's an implicit agreement that you're working on it and you want to work on it, which means that there's something there that's of value to work on. So you're both into it at that point.
One of the things that Chris talked about was whether or not people were in the same phase, is what he called it. And so, like, some people go to marriage counseling because they want to find a way out, and another person wants to go to marriage counseling because they want to find a way to make it better. So, do you guys feel like you're in the same place in terms of why you want to go?
I was talking about past experience with marriage counselors. Today, I don't know, we haven't even started the conversation yet.
Right.
But
yeah, past experiences have been sort of one night stands or one afternoon stands with a marriage counselor. We haven't committed, and the time and energy it takes to explain your situation to somebody, and you're paying them.
Yes.
It's such a weird equation.
Yeah.
And
no, I get it.
I'd rather listen to a podcast than spill my guts.
Right.
Thank you very much.
And yet they're trained at solving relationship issues. So it's like, it's totally interesting, and why not?
And it's also validating because you have a person listening who has a new, fresh perspective. And I mean, I guess I have a certain saturation point because I've been in a home and raised in a setting where I kind of learned that counselor speak. I feel this way when you do. I have a dad who's a counselor and a mom who used to work in advertising and media. So I feel like I've already got this weird sort of, I'm looking at it like a script, a 1-act play, and I'm bored already. So it's like,
you just want to get to, let's fix this,
ADD
whatever.
of counselors. Like, I don't know I have issues, evidently.
So maybe counselors don't work for you then.
Do you think maybe they remind you of your dad?
Yeah. Like you
Everything
see it
reminds
as
me of
just
my dad.
part of the same thing it's been around you your whole life.
Yada
And
yada
it's
yada.
it's not something you take seriously, maybe. I don't know.
All I can imagine.
It's a racket. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I sit back and I, I'm trying to stop myself from saying, when you say they're trained to help you, I want to say, how do you know?
Right.
Because that's my shtick, right? That
Yeah, they
we
may
have
not
this,
be.
we live in this province that still doesn't
I
regulate
guess that's
counselors.
the assumption you make.
You make that
as a
assumption,
person
yes.
reaching out to one, you assume that they know what they're doing.
So
but
you-
it's like finding a dentist or a doctor. I mean,
Yeah,
you have to research it, right? And make
Well,
sure that
except you live in a province that you know that if they have a license on there and they're a doctor, that most likely they are, because they can get into major trouble for not
Right.
being.
Is
Anyway,
the
that's
same
off
not true
topic.
for counseling?
No,
Okay.
they don't have to have any training. They can just decide that they're God's gift to people and throw up a shingle. That's beside the point. So when you think about going, what are you hoping is? No, that's not what I want to ask. What do I want to ask here? I want to get to what your expectations are. Do you have an expectation? Do you have an idea of what marriage counseling is, or what are the steps that they're going to take to get you from here to wherever you want to be?
I do.
You do.
I have a big expectation that having the audience of a counselor and a witness validates my feeling. It puts it on a record.
Right.
And it makes me accountable to what I say.
Right.
And there's as Mango pointed out, there's a contract in, okay, if we've decided to take the step to go see a counselor, then we're investing in a little
Right.
further togetherness.
So it's a recommitment to the relationship.
Or curiosity and a respect for the relationship, that you don't want it to dissolve into complete dysfunction.
Yes.
Even if it's a fork in the road, even if maybe it's a mediator one person wants and it's a first aid attendant the other person wants.
Right.
But my expectation is clarity and fairness and being heard.
Yes. So for you, going to a marriage counselor is about being heard in terms of what's going on for you, that you need to have somebody witness what you're doing,
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And get out of that isolating, replaying argument that I don't know if other couples have it, but it seems like it's Groundhog Day, and I want to break that cycle.
Right. So it's a repetitive argument.
Yeah.
And do you find that too, that you're having the same argument over and over and over?
Yes. We
Yes. You both concur here.
Do that. Yeah.
That this is happening. Yay.
Well, there's certain themes that recur.
You're both on
over
the
and over
same
again.
place. This is good.
No, we've hit the point where it's it's been done many times.
I think every relationship probably gets to this place. Any good relationship gets to this place because it's so, it's almost predictable. You come into a relationship with, your baggage and your stuff and your hopes and your dreams and,
And
and
then, you
then
have
all
a
your
kid.
stuff, and then all your stuff gets in there, and over time, that stuff ends up in a pattern. And the question is, how do you get out of that pattern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learn from it and not hold a grudge.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, there's a certain resentment. that
Explain yourself in further detail, please.
I think that it's my thing is that I'm working on is to let it go, not to resent, not to keep being bothered by something that I can't change, and to be forgiving of my own dysfunctions and leanings.
Yes. Yeah. So I know we kind of are already sort of in the middle of this thing, but can you describe for people who are listening your marriage? Like, how long has it been? What components are a part of this marriage? Are you married legally? Are you?
No, we're common law, I think 13 years now. And I have 2 children who are from other fantastic relationships
Right.
of deep deep dysfunction and joy.
Right.
That, you know, I'm friends with them.
Right.
So this whole relationship has been teamwork.
Yes. So Mango came into a family, your
Yeah.
family, that had already 2 children, and now you've had a child together.
Yeah.
How old is that child?
10.
10. Cool. She's 10. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And Mango is acted as a mediator in so many instances for this dynamic sort of extended family. He's actually been the role of a mediator many times because, I don't know, I have 3 daughters and there's a lot of alpha female energy in here sometimes.
Right.
So he's been very grounded and helpful in that department.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been, he's witnessed a lot.
So
I trust the guy
you trust him.
most of the time.
That's good. That's powerful. That's profound.
Yeah.
So 13 years, common law, considered now a legal marriage. You own a house together?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah,
You've had-
we're stuck in this 3-legged race. There's no escape. Sometimes I feel cornered. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, as you're standing in the corner of the kitchen.
Maybe you corner yourself.
Yeah, and also I have a degree in theater, so it makes my expression a lot bigger, and
Yes.
I'm actually a lot more playful and able to laugh and mimic and make fun of the situation, and also move on.
Right.
I know it sounds very arrogant, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know if it is arrogant.
I don't know how any of that is arrogant,
I
actually.
feel like but it's like I want to really stir the pot. So I think my whole approach to confronting a situation is more willing, and I'm with somebody who's like more chilled back, who doesn't really want to, like, what's the big deal?
Mm-hmm.
Just so I am always. I think I want a counselor so that I can finish the conversation.
Right.
You can't walk out of the room because I'm
Right.
out of line.
And is that what you do? You walk out of the room? I will just, fair disclosure, I walk out of the room a lot. So, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, fights happen, and you do what happens at the spur of the moment, right? So, sure, everything's happened.
Well, we also come to relationships with our own, as I said, baggage, blah, 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 but our own style of communication, right? And so that may not always fit together. One of the things that Chris talked about was how he'll actually sit with a couple and have them talk about an issue that is, difficult for them, so that he doesn't intercede at that first visit. He watches to see how they're communicating. And the next visit, he will actually start to talk to them about, well, this is what I'm hearing you say, and what did you hear her say? And do you, if you, knew that that's what she meant when she was saying that, would you change? So he's interceding and intervening in your relationship.
Coaching as
Yes.
active listeners almost.
Yeah. I called it a bridge from what
Yeah.
he described. It becomes this bridge between the two of you, teaching you how to listen and how to hear each other and validate each other.
The interpreter.
So not somebody that comes in and sees and decides you're right, you're wrong, or any of that stuff. It's more about how do I intervene in this relationship to make it what these two people want. So, do you know what the boundaries are for a marriage counselor?
No.
Do you?
No.
How common do you think that is?
You mean like a set of rules?
Just generally in the public, no, they're just common that people don't understand what the boundaries are. Like, when I think about marriage counseling, it's two people taking their vulnerabilities in something that's really important to a person, and if you don't know what to expect and don't know what the boundaries are and don't know, then it just becomes this difficult thing to do that you're sort of walking in blind, right?
Yeah. There's trust in a stranger that is maybe naive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
I don't think that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm
maybe they
interrupting
don't
you. But
understand.
no,
the question.
I'm not. I don't want to say that to make people not trust the process. And if that's where it ends up going, I'm sorry. But it just seems to me that if you don't know what the process is and you don't know what you're walking into and you're going in really vulnerable, that might end up being a really scary thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this whole conversation is about trying to get, like, why are you going to a counselor, and then how do you choose a counselor, and then once you choose one, what are the boundaries?
Right.
You know, there's quite a lot of things
Right.
that lead up to it,
Right.
And then they're part of it.
Yeah.
And I could see one of those steps going wrong at one point without being able to anticipate it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. So you guys went to see a counselor, 2 counselors.
Yeah.
What did you do in the first meeting? Do you remember?
I think we just had a talk about, there's just questions about, tell me what's happening, where you are, and what's going on. And then it became a conversation. Each appointment was an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just talks about how each of us were feeling. And then the counselor started making recommendations for maybe you should start interacting, do some basic things every day that help improve.
So it was like catch up. It was like telling him a quick synopsis,
right?
And then that felt like that was kind of never enough time, and then a little formulaic suggestion like, how about 10 minutes of me and you time when you get together at the end of a workday, where you don't go through a list but you just appreciate each other and take things in and put all the blame and the to-do list on the side burner. And it was a little exercise she left us with.
And did it work?
Like we're still together. Well, I don't know if we do that.
It didn't last that long. But
So was it something that you could naturally do, or did it become a chore to do it, or was it something you forgot to do? I
We
would forget
talked
to do
about
that.
how we should be doing it.
Oh, I see.
But the idea behind it was very valid.
I agree.
So you learned something.
Mm-hmm.
And we went back one more time, and it just seemed like a lot of time and effort for not a lot of return on the investment. And then, I think 3 years went by, and we really felt like we needed to see another counselor. And again, our friend, the same friend, good guy, recommended a counselor that he'd had experience with and thought that she would work. So we went, and that was lovely. But it was also catch up, explain yourself, and then. Okay, and I think the question I took from that session was, what are you willing to give up to stay in this relationship? And that question stumped me. Like, I'm still thinking about that. What are you willing to give up? Like, of my standards and my business and my whatever I've got expecting, like I expect, honesty, vulnerability.
Did you feel it was a valid question? Or
Well,
did it stump
kind of, because it makes me think of, what am I being too rigid, I guess.
Did she ask you the same question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both were together right there, the three of us, and it was, how do you feel, same thing. And then if we start getting off topic, she would guide us back to the same. So you had to finish it.
Right.
But that question, what are you willing to give up to make this relationship work?
Yeah.
Do you remember that question?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, really? Okay. Do you remember the questionnaire that she sent us before the session?
Yeah, I do.
I spent about 3 days filling it out.
I did mine 10 minutes before. Oh. But there was only a few questions.
So right there, we know that you are a very different person than this person in terms of how you approach something.
I felt my answers were just as good or better, though.
It's all relative, right? It's all relative.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I mean, look. When we went with totally good intentions, and it still worked out. What's more important is just the conversation you have in front of the counselor.
Right.
And you start agreeing on things. And really, to make it last and work, just the counselor's trying to get us to go in a certain direction, and we start doing that, or listening to what we want to do.
Right.
But to make it work, you have to do multiple sessions, I would think. It's not going to solve itself in 2 weeks.
No.
So, you know, like you have to go for a long time, and there's a
Yes.
huge commitment. It's like becomes another part of your life.
Yeah.
But it
Yes.
could
When you're
be,
trying to take kids to soccer practice, tutor, piano, life, groceries, recycling, and radio,
Recycling is the worst.
it takes up a lot of your life, and
It does.
picking up dog shit and
but as Woody Allen always said, if you know, in New York City, if you don't have a counselor, you're an oddball. Everyone goes every week, you know, like it's part of life.
yeah, there's definitely no shame
Yeah.
in the therapy way of life, but there's a little bit of a price tag,
Yeah,
and I think that's a barrier.
I agree.
It is.
I agree. I don't know
It's a
what
big
the
commitment.
current price is. What is the current price for a marriage counselor?
$120 an hour,
Right.
more sometimes, $160 an hour. That's a lot of coin.
Yes.
Unless you have full coverage or you get partial coverage, it's still a lot of. It's an investment, and it's
Yeah.
also the time and the emotional effort to re-explain yourself and tell the same thing to somebody else.
But your friends and family also.
They're free. That's right. Free
counsel you.
therapists.
Yeah,
We're surrounded
I
by
mean,
them.
some friends and family can be more valuable than a counselor, right?
Well, you know, I am of the thinking that you don't need to have a counselor to heal.
Right.
You know, you don't need a counselor to love each other, right?
No.
To respect each other, to listen to each other, you know. So the only place, as Chris talked about, that a marriage counselor comes in is trying to figure out what you're saying and what you're hearing and what you're saying and what you're hearing, and does it match, right?
Interpreter.
Yes, that's it. That's
Right.
his job.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's what the kid's for. No, just kidding. That's not fair. That's child abuse. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
You said it out loud.
Yeah.
It's okay. So you've gone twice. They were both kind of the same. You went in, you basically updated them, and they gave you some ideas on. One person told you, what are you willing to give up? And the other, what did the other person tell you to do? Do you remember?
Maria.
Well, I guess we both agreed that it wasn't really someone, neither person clicked with us to the sense that, you know, we really felt it was going to make a massive improvement.
Right.
We just decided, I think, early on that this is helpful, but not helpful enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we just naturally stopped, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, though, if you met a certain personality that really was, you know, had that extra little thing, you might want to keep going back.
I think there's a lot of value in peer support and in friend circles, and I think we're really blessed to have friend circles. And Mingo is a devout soccer player and runs around sweating with the same group of guys twice a week, and then goes
cool.
and has beer with them. So that's his, you know, support network and community and his people. And so I've got this whole other group, and so we have that. And I can imagine some people haven't got that. Maybe they just don't. And so there is a role for counselors in giving us the language and space and time to identify our inner place.
Right.
And I think that once you can learn that language, sometimes you can read and journal and do your own work and sort of figure out like how to laugh at yourself and not take it so seriously, or get help.
Yes.
Which is sometimes
that's what's needed. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I definitely think that when you're in isolation and I know some couples get into places where they're not even talking to other, then that's a different situation.
Or talking to each other. They literally are
Yeah.
shadows in each other's lives because
And
the
I feel
relationship broke down that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that finding the language and the way to stand and be an entire person within an agreed union. We're common law. We have children and property together, so we haven't made, you know, but there's a certain respect and balance to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, you know, I hope that in this day and age that there's a lot of equality in relationships. It's not always the case, though.
Not in all relationships, but you're saying in yours it feels equal.
Yeah, and I feel very lucky, actually deserved. I worked for this. I did. I had to look around and have a few babies with a few different men, and you know, it's work all the time.
It is work. Life is work. It is work, right? If you want to do something different than what you've always done, you have to work at it. So,
and my dad said that, you know, people, tried his time as a marriage counselor, and you know, he said that people think their relationship should be what they see in a sitcom or what they see in a story. They reflect on what's around them and they compare.
Yes.
And there is a place in every relationship where things plateau, and there are storms, and there are all these really tough, disappointing times. Really disappointing, and your whole challenge is your investment is in that. How can you be all of who you are within that relationship? Maybe you can't. And coincidentally, my dad is no longer with my mom.
Oh,
and that has changed my look at relationships a lot too.
Yes.
So I don't necessarily believe in happy endings, Bernie. And I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, no happy endings
No,
in
I'm
this
just
kitchen
kidding.
today.
No, there are happy endings. I'm just joking.
I'm just kidding.
This is the song I will sing to you when you're old and tired. I will sing it to remind you that I'm old beside you. And if you're tired of hearing my voice, I'm gonna sing it to you anyway. 'Cause I know that if we made it this far, those differences have been put away. And I'll sing, oh, it's amazing that you're here. So alone I would be in a world that you're not near. Don't go home without me, without me. So if our bodies get ugly and our hearts stop beating, our house is crumbling under me, and our kids start leaving. I hope you know I appreciate it, you in every possible way. All of the little things that you did, they got me through the hardest days. And I'll sing, oh, it's amazing that you're here. So alone I would be in a world that you're not near. Don't go home without me. You know that I'll be hanging around every mile. And when you call me, I'll be right down. And we'll go out in style and style. And I'll sing, oh, it's amazing that you're here. So alone I would be in a world that you're not near. Don't go home without me. It's amazing that you're here. So alone I would be in a world that you're not near. Don't go home without me. It's amazing that you're here. So alone I would be in a world that you're not near. Don't go home without me.
I'm going home, and the sun goes down way too big.
My name is Doug Lang. I'm the host of Better Days, now heard Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time. I have a great time coming in and playing you wonderful roots music, folk, blues, country, you name it, from around the corner and around the world. Recent stuff and stuff that goes way back in the tradition. I love doing it. I've been doing it for a long time, and I hope you'll check it out sometime. That's Better Days, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Saturday, right here on Co-op Radio.
You're listening to Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. I'm Bernadine Fox, and we'll be right back with Both Sides Now.
Vancouver Co-op Radio 100.5 FM is political.
Co-op Radio is poetry.
Co-op Radio is tango.
Co-op Radio is gay.
Ecology.
Comedy.
Feminism.
Philosophy.
Yoga.
Reggae.
Bicycles.
Trade unions.
Gospel.
Live.
Local. Asian.
African.
Vancouver Co-op Radio is community.
Your community.
Vancouver Co-op Radio.
CFRO
100.5 FM.
All different.
All the time.
They're really good friends now, having gone through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're really good friends with...
My mom and dad are.
Oh, okay, yes. Well, that's a good thing.
But
right?
it did shake my faith in relationships when they broke up. They had been together for a very long time, and I was always commended by my friends. Oh, your parents are so great together. They're so fun and wonderful, and I love going to your house. And then when they broke up, it really shattered my faith in monogamy and in a lot of long-term promise, and the fairy tale was shattered. So, and then I find now I don't know what I don't expect anything.
Oh, how does that impact you? How does that impact you? I mean, you as in
Mango's parents are still
you.
together, and I really love that about them.
Yes.
And I think Mango has that expectation to stay together. And I think that actually does affect how we approach each other.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one would assume if you're with someone, it's going to continue.
Actually, I don't assume that myself, so...
Well, while you're with each other, are you constantly assuming it's just a matter of time till you break up? That's not a very happy way of being.
You're right. It's not a very...
So you have to assume it to enjoy the moment together.
Yes. So you're assuming it's going to be okay, whatever happens.
If you know or you assume it's not going to be,
right,
then, at the moment, there's this overhanging dark cloud.
Yes.
So why do that? And
you have a dark cloud. Is that what you're saying?
Not really. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, but he's saying that if you really believe that you're going to be together, then you don't have that dark cloud. But if you don't believe it's like somebody like me, I would be having a dark cloud over me the whole time I'm having a relationship.
Yeah, attitude is everything, and you're right. Mango has sort of like a good approach to like fun-loving, good vibe thing, and I'm more of a realist of things.
Well, this is not fun-loving or good vibe. This is more serious, but it's like, you have to assume you're improving or going to last, or else it's a dismal, then it'd be better to end it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there is this sort of thing our brain does to keep us alive. It says,
but,
tomorrow's going to be better.
When couples have problems, then obviously there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it seems like that at the time, right? So then, those are the moments where you talk about counseling and everything else. So this is why we're talking about this. But I think the whole time you're with someone, you have to assume it's going to last like beyond next week or something. Otherwise, your behavior would be completely different if you're assuming on Monday it's all over. Don't you think?
Yes, I believe that is true.
That's a normal thing to think.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a healthy relationship, is to have the assumption that you're trying to make it last and improve.
So you guys have been together for 13 years. Have you changed?
Yeah, I think we have
you
changed
individually
a lot.
changed, or has the relationship changed, or
Yeah, both.
both?
For sure.
Would you
the
say that?
relationships changed definitely, and individually we've changed a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's 13 years, quite a long time.
Mm-hmm. And you'd say that too?
That's a whole other interview. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it is.
Whole other interview. Okay.
But you're not going to say anything? It's just a whole other interview? What do you mean?
I think a lot of us is the same, and it's a stagnation of loss of ambition and a resigned sort of acceptance. I think when you're in a long-term, there's an amazing security and foundation to a relationship. And then there's this acceptance level where you realize you can't change the other, and I can only change myself.
Right.
And so I feel like I feel sort of impatient, and I feel, I've changed, but not as much as I want to.
Right.
So I'm just giving you an honest answer.
No, that's good. Honesty is good.
So I feel like the longer this has become a familiar, safe, and comforting, codependent place that I live in.
Right.
And parts of me, a relationship brings on complacency sometimes.
It does. It can. Yes.
And I don't know if I'm at my sharpest and at my best. That I know that I used to be more creative and daring or something. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just older now. But I'm not the. I'm actually mellow. So yeah, the relationship has. I don't know if that's. It's like being in a. I'm not out in the world as much.
So would it be fair to say that at this point you're not necessarily fully happy with who you are in
my
your
own
life?
thing. Yeah, so I don't blame them. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a relationship, but it could be that the relationship created the parameters or
that took the edge off of trying so hard.
Right. Yeah, I can tend to hide in other people's lives.
Because I have to take care of people, and I have to do laundry and make dinner, and it puts off my artistic journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also enhances so much and gives so much security, comfort, and really an ability to read people and help and be somehow involved in a way that is satisfying.
Right. No, I understand that. But I also think that might be a female thing. That's kind of how we're...
Exactly. It's a whole other interview.
Yes. We're trained in our lives from the time we're really little to take care of other people. Go and hand out this food. Go and do this. Go and sweep this up. Go
Think of 3 steps ahead.
Yes. And you're always, and so there's a comfort. I feel like it's sort of this culturally ordained comfort place of taking on that role and hiding. It's what I do. I hide.
That's my excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been hard. I've had to pull myself out of there and just not allow myself to go into that comfortable place.
Yeah.
So I get it what you say about it's your...
I would, kind of so in my relationship with Mango, because I still have that punk aspect, I try and poke the fire and bring out some sort of, turn it on its head, and maybe our relationship isn't the place to do that. So I have pushed the boundaries of my relationship, and I have probably done a bit of damage in doing that because I'm kind of just...
Yes.
So that's another conversation.
It's
been great to talk to you about counseling and meeting the intersection of agreeing to get there, finding the time, the money, and the
how to make the best use of whatever time you have there with a counselor.
Well worth it, though.
Yes. I think so, yeah. So what did you think about what you just said? That's kind of profound. But it's profound for me. It may not be profound for you.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I don't know how to respond. We each do our own thing in the family. I do a lot of contribution, but not during the day. I'm busy every single day at work.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like we just do different things. I'm constantly taking Scarlett and picking her up and dropping her off and involved in her things. And then at home it's hard. It's not exactly equal, but we're each doing our own thing to contribute to the overall.
Right.
So, I don't know what to say. Like, it just seems fair to me.
Yes, I get that. I think what I'm hearing Molly say is she lost something somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Right? Which isn't necessarily something you would be able to see. Right? Because it's not yours. Right?
Yeah, I lost my artistic path, my intention.
But that's really up to the individual. Like, I have an artistic path too. I was very creative when I was younger, and I'm hardly creative anymore. It's like I've just decided to do other things.
Right.
But you can't blame your partner for why I'm not being creative. Like,
right.
You know, like, you have to just do it.
Yes.
I come from a
I actually
family of
didn't hear
artists.
Molly blaming you.
Yeah. Well, I just think like she was upset that her role has not allowed her to branch out in how she wants to branch out. It's with you know, she said like a lot of the issues might be her own issues about what she's going through.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily relationship issues, but they become relationship issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing holding anyone back aside from your own psychology of pursuing what you want. You know,
I agree.
You have to just go for it. Yeah.
It's true. But you could also end up feeling in a relationship that if you jump out of your comfort zone and go back after that creative stuff, what damage are you doing to the relationship? Right?
And that's totally valid too.
Yeah.
That's totally valid. So this is what couples have to work out, you know, allow the freedom to each other to do what they want. And I think we're pretty good at that. Like, we've never once told each other we can't do something.
Yeah, I don't think sometimes it's that cultural thing, right? I mean, it's different when you're a guy, and it's almost makes it invisible, right? Like we have a different upbringing, and so we have to struggle against that as we go through our lives.
It's also an internalized misogyny.
Well, you went away last year for a month to the tropics to pursue your own thing, and that's totally cool. And like, you know, we built that into our schedule, and it was fine. It was seamless.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
That
and you could do it 3 times a year if you wanted to. Like, you know, there's nothing really holding us back from doing what we want, right?
Right.
We just got to talk about it and work it out. Like, because Molly and I both are, you know, I'm pretty confident that we'd want each other to do anything we want to. If Molly wanted to go do something, she could ask me and I'd say sure. If I wanted to do something, it's not like Molly's going to say no.
Right.
So, you know, at least we're on the same page that way, I think. You know, if you really want to go do something, say it. Go do it. And, you know, like, I would be fine with it. Because I respect Molly. I'm not trying to, if it was something that meant tons to her, then by all means. But we're not really just talking about that. That's more like a thing you're doing. I'm talking about more day-to-day relationship stuff.
Right. Well, what do you think, Molly?
Yeah. But the negotiations and compromises that a daily relationship has, there's I'm not going to comment on balance or equality right now. It's a different lens to look through. But the lens of language compromise or counseling and the negotiations of relationships is an indulgence. I think it's very, I don't know what other cultures do. I don't know, do all cultures have marriage counselors? I think it's an indulgence.
I don't know. I do think that learning
but to call it an indulgence isn't right. Counseling is there to help you. Now, it may not work for everyone, but it's not an indulgence. Like, if it was an indulgence, it wouldn't be nearly as unpopular, don't you think? I mean, some counselors have saved relationships. They've saved addictions, like a counselor for drug addiction or alcohol addiction. I think the counselors are extremely important. They perform a role.
Yeah.
So it's not an indulgence. It's just difficult because it does cost money and it takes time. It's a commitment.
It is a commitment. It's true.
And you may find just as beneficial a thing from friends and family and talking to them. So it depends on the
It's great to hear
individual.
you say all this. So I'm going to book an appointment for us to go see a marriage counselor.
Or friends and family.
Is that okay? Do you mind?
Bernie might be our...
Oh, no. Bernie is not a counselor. Bernie's just...
She's an amateur. She does this because she loves it.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's been great discussing this. I feel a little...
Thank you so much. There's
lighter.
so much information in there.
I can't watch the news. I can't bear the who and where and what they say's the truth. Everybody's crazy with avarice and greed. Tooth for tooth, eye for an eye is never gonna set you free. Oh, why can't we get along? Sing that next time. Mama always told me there's too many on this earth. Nature has a way of getting even. Mark my words. You see it in the weather. You see it in the wars. Something tells me she's not gonna take it anymore. Oh, why can't we get along? Save the sinners? Was it a waste of a good man's life? Is there meanness in the bones of man beyond his sacrifice? Why is there hatred? Why, tell me, why is there fighting? Why, tell me, why is there killing? Why is there greed? Why all the people cry? How much do you really need? Oh, why can't we get along? Why can't we get along? No. Oh, why can't we get along? Why can't we get along? Hey, come on.
It's officially Vancouver Co-op Radio's Fall Fundraising Drive. From Friday, October 18th to Monday, October 28th, we'll be working hard to raise money so that we can make some upgrades to our community radio station. The theme for this year's drive is Radio That Matters. Since 1975, we've provided a media outlet for the economically, socially, or politically disadvantaged. We provide news and perspectives and some pretty neat programs that are not otherwise heard on conventional media. The programming we provide is needed more now than ever. Donate and support Radio That Matters by donating today. Head over to coopradio.org or call us at 604-684-8494. 604-684-8494. Vancouver Co-op Radio. Radio that matters.
CFRO has the most reggae and Caribbean music of any station in the Vancouver area. Start your week off with some reggae oldies on Tuesdays from 10:30 a.m. to noon with Level the Vibes. Roots Reggae is on Fridays from midnight to 7 a.m. The Reggae Show from 6 to 8:30 p.m. every Saturday, followed by Caribbean Sounds from 8:30 to 11 p.m. On the first and second Saturday of every month, it's a Reggae Extended Mix from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then Super Mix on the third, fourth, and fifth Saturday on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver Cooperative Radio.
All the steps to follow closer right behind. Is it only when you feel the party's empty that it's gnawing at the corners of your mind? I will ask you for mercy. I will come to you blind. What you'll see is the worst me, not the last of my kind. In the muddy water we're falling. Oh, in the muddy water we're crawling. Hold me down, hold me now, sold me out. In the muddy water we're falling. We choose a fire pathway. Where we end is not the way that we had planned. All the spirits gather round like it's our last day. To get across, you know we'll have to raise the sand. I will ask you for mercy. I will come to you blind. What you'll see is the worst me, not the last of my kind. Oh, in the muddy waters we're falling. Oh, in the muddy waters we're falling. Hold me down, hold me now, sold me out. In the muddy water
You've been listening to Both Sides Now on Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. I'm Bernadine Fox. What you just heard was an intimate peek into a long-term relationship with folks who are looking at working with a marriage counselor. Thanks to my friends for allowing us at Both Sides Now to be a fly on the wall for this private conversation. We will add some resources on marriage counselors on the resource page of our website, www.bothsidesnowbc.com, including the name and address of the Family Marriage Counseling Association here in BC. If you have a comment about this show, or if you do not find what you're looking for on the website, please do not hesitate to contact us here at Both Sides Now. Our music today were songs by Lights, LP, and Sherry Ulrich. If you have questions or feedback about this program or want to share your story or have something to say to us, we want to hear from you. You can reach us by email, bothsidesnow@coopradio.org, or via Twitter @BothSidesNowBC. This is Bernadine Fox. We'll be back next week. Until then.
I can't seem to find my way under or over or through. Just when I'm ready to give up the fight, there you are when we turn out the lights. And it's alright, it's alright. Don't you worry, it'll be alright. Why do I always believe it when you tell me everything's gonna be alright? Yeah. Why don't I wonder how you know? Well, surely you don't have all of the facts. You could be just making it up. Why don't I ever think of that? It's some kind of magic in the words that you breathe, saying, baby, take it from me. It's alright, it's alright. Don't you worry, it'll be alright. Why do I always believe it when you tell me everything's gonna be alright? Everything's gonna be alright. With anyone else, it's such a cliche, just words people say to be nice. Or somehow when they fall from your lips, I'm convinced you're right. When I'm weary and so tired, when I'm worn out and done, when I fall off the wire again,